What we're going to talk about today, guys, is onboarding, specifically through the lens of retention. So a lot of times people look at onboarding as just, well, I've got to do an on-ramp, I've got to teach people the movements, and it's just something that we do in CrossFit. But there's actually far more to it than just onboarding, and it plays a critical role in your ability to grow your business. So let's jump right in. I have two goals for you guys today. First one is I want to highlight that relationship between onboarding and retention for you to hopefully have some light bulbs go off for you. And number two, I want to help outline a framework for building an effective onboarding program, because there is a method to the madness. And oftentimes the things that we see with the affiliates that we work with in Affiliate University is that they have the wrong version of their onboarding for where they are and what they need. And it actually creates a bottleneck or unnecessary friction in their business. And that impacts not only the retention of the business, but that in turn impacts their ability to grow, it impacts their staffing, and all sorts of other little things. So, get to the friggin' point. A good onboarding process improves your retention, and the reason is because this is actually the very first component to your long-term retention strategy. Most of the churn that affiliate owners experience happens in the first 3 to 6 months. That's because this is out of alignment. This is not set up correctly, and there is something happening here, and it's a missed opportunity. And I'll give you a hint. It's not just an on-ramp program. Better retention equals faster growth. Hands up if you'd like to grow your business at a faster rate than you're currently growing. Yeah, everyone's arm should be up, right? And something we call the 50-50 model. Now, typically, when people look at a service-based business model and they think of a pie chart, what is often preached is a 25% times 4 ratio. Sales, marketing, operations, and service. That may apply to other models. It does not apply to this model. This particular version of this service business actually requires a 50-50 split, where sales, marketing, and operations take up a total of 50%. But your service is the entire other half of that pie. So what does that mean for retention? It means it's far more important than most people understand it to be. So let's get into the what and the why. The what? Retention is a series of things done consistently and consistently well that provides the client with enough value for them to actually remain a client. Okay? It is not an automation sequence. It is not an act. It is about making sure that the perceived value is higher than what you are charging and they are getting more out of the exchange than they are putting into it. That creates retention. The why? Because retention is the independent variable most commonly associated with maximizing the rate of growth in the affiliate. I'm going to get into that a little bit more further on, but oftentimes the reason people cap out and stop growing is a retention problem, not a front-end growth problem. Be impressed by how many clients a box keeps, not how many they sign up. I've been in these Facebook groups and online since this all started. And I can't tell you, the number one thing, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this, is about how many leads and what's the trick to get more leads and to grow on the front end. Everyone gets obsessed with it. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Retention, when done right, increases your length of engagement. It increases your lifetime value. It fixes your churn. It increases your lifetime gross profit, and it increases your growth rate. So let's get into some numbers here and some specifics. How many of you know your churn rate? What's your churn rate?
2%.
Excellent. Those are some good numbers, guys. Anyone want to guess what good churn is? 3 is good. 3 is great. It's 3 to 5%. If your churn rate is over 5%, it becomes unsustainable. And you will get to the win some, lose some cycle of death that so many affiliates find themselves in. Well, what does churn tell you about your future? 5% churn, you're going to have about a 46% turnover over the course of a year. It means you're replacing almost half of your member base at 5% over the course of 12 months. 7%, 61. 10%, 71. You see how it becomes unsustainable? So how does this impact the lead need? So to talk about the thing that everyone is always so wrapped up in, well, we have a formula for that. First of all, higher churn means you're going to need more people on the front end. And the problem with that is that when you have a churn problem, the ability to grow organically and to grow at a healthy clip, because you don't want to go too fast, just like weight loss. Like you want to grow in a sustainable way to where you're going, this becomes who you are, not I lose 40 pounds in 40 days. That might work technically on the scale, but then your system's screwed. It's no different with this. Needing to put too much in the front is completely unsustainable. And what happens is that your churn problem down the road is going to catch up with you, and then this increases. So what's the magic number? The lead need is 3 times your churn, and that's assuming you can close your new leads at 50%. So that means you need 3 times the amount. Some examples, at 150 members, 5% churn means you lose average 7.5 people per month. That means your lead need would be 22.5. It's quite a few. 22.5. 50% close rate means you're closing 11.25. That 5% churn at 7.5 means your net growth will be at 3.75 net new members every month. And that's our goal for our people inside of Affiliate University on average. It'll change depending on your market. Could be some variables there, but on average, we want to see at least a net 3 average growth rate over the course of time. Can't out-train a shitty diet. You can't outsell a shitty service. And it's not that you don't care about what you're delivering. It's a matter often is about how it's received. Is it being fully received? Right? Just like anything in communication. Doesn't matter what you say, it matters what they heard and what they felt from it. It's the outcome. So let's zoom out a bit. One of my partners, Fern, anyone know Fern? Follow the podcast? Yeah. Fern put on an awesome webinar just a few weeks back where he laid out the affiliate blueprint. It's brilliant. I highly encourage, if you did not see that, go watch that. Cody can send that to you, to all of you guys here. Go check it out. It's very, very eye-opening, and it was phenomenal. Point being is that we've identified what we call Death Valley. Death Valley is the churn and burn. Now, I'm not going to go into the full content of this because that's its own hour-long talk all by itself. The moral of the story is you cannot break past this point, no matter what, without fixing that churn problem. Make sense? So phase 4 means you're at $400,000 to $600,000 in annual revenue, 225 to 300 clients, 36 to 48K a month. You will not be able to get past this stage. But for many of you, I'm willing to bet this is happening sooner. And that's because something's not optimal, which means there's an opportunity. And when you fix that, it allows you to grow. Every time we find one of these core components in our business that's not in alignment with the rest of it, what happens is that we retard our growth. Something in there is keeping us from being able to move to the next stage, right? Think of like an athlete with a significant imbalance in one area of their fitness. They're not going to really progress until we address that weakness. Once we address that, it unlocks the other aspects and they can start making progress again, right? Your business is no different. So hopefully you see how improving retention helps you. So let's get to the onboarding component, because that's really what we're here to talk about, right? So the onboarding, get to the freaking point, is that onboarding is how you integrate your new clients, set them up for success, and keep them for as long as possible. That's what the goal here is. So, where does onboarding fit into your business framework? Again, I'm going to reference that presentation. Hopefully you guys all get a chance to watch it later on tonight. Here we have the theoretical hierarchy of the affiliate. And what this does is it bridges the gap from sales to onboarding and everything beyond. This is the key. When do you need to solve it? Is in phase 3, because sales is the constraint in this phase. And when sales is the constraint, again, these are the sample numbers that are typical in this phase here. If your onboarding is not good enough and your sales is not good enough, you will not move forward, right? You've got a leaky bucket on both ends. Quick little public service announcement. Before everybody asks, there is no perfect onboarding formula. There is not one perfect onboarding formula, let me put it that way. But there is one that is perfect for you based on where you're at and what you need to get to the next step. Think of a progression regression. It's just about getting the person at the right stage. Then it works fine, then they can start moving forward. Put someone at the wrong stage, don't move forward. So let's talk about what it is and what it isn't, because this is the kind of fundamental flaw here when we talk about this with affiliate owners, is that they actually misunderstand what their onboarding program actually is. Let's start with what it isn't. It's not that. It's not teaching the 9 foundational movements. I have to get them ready. They have to know everything before they get in the class. No, they don't. It's not what it's about at all, actually. If you do that, you're pushing a boulder uphill. That's what your classes are for. Your classes are to coach them. If you think you're going to teach them all the things that they need to know about all these things, you're giving them too much. It's information overload. What it is, though, is about integrating them into your community and creating a lifer. So I'm going to break that down on what that means and how to do that. Because there's an order of operations, and once you understand it, hopefully the light bulbs will go off, and you'll be able to look at your onboarding program and refactor it based on what's going to be just right for you. Another quick public service announcement. The whole secret to this business, guys, is about stacking lifers. That's it. If everything you do is about creating lifers, you will understand this business differently. Whether we're talking about lead generation, lead management, sales, short-term integration, long-term integration, upsells, every single aspect of this business should be about creating lifers and keeping as many of them as possible. We're not in the churn and burn business, guys. And whenever you take different concepts and models from other variations of the gym business, which almost all have a churn and burn factor to them, it screws up this business and it doesn't work. It does not apply. Anyone here in the business of just trying to get to as many people as possible, or would you rather keep and make a big, meaningful impact with people, right? I don't think anyone gets into this business to just create a mill of, I just market, sell, and they walk out the back door. Market, sell, walk out the back door. And unfortunately, for many years, that was rampant in our industry because people were sold that that was a good idea. And there were many, many great gym owners whose businesses went down the toilet because of it. Because it is out of alignment with the actual service and values usually of the owner who's facilitating this. They were a mismatch. So here's how you do it. There are 3 pillars of onboarding. The first one is people need to feel seen and heard. You guys, how many areas in people's lives are people genuinely seen and feel important and taken care of? How many people get an award for working really hard at work and constantly being recognized for how awesome you are? Oh. What about as a dad or a mom? You get any awards being like, oh, killed it this week, here's your awesome dad award? Nope. We have a really special opportunity in this business to make people feel special. And guess what? If you've been in this business for any time at all, you know that there's special shit happening in your four walls every single day. People are doing hard things, scary things, things they've never done before, on the hour, every hour. And you get to recognize them for that. That's really powerful. The second component is about awareness. People are coming into something that has all sorts of information that they've either never heard before or that they've misunderstood their entire lives. And we have the opportunity to teach them. And it's not about trying to give them all the information. It's about teaching them how to absorb the information. Don't tell them, try to break down all the movements. Instead, tell them, the workouts are going to change every day. And I know it looks totally random, but guess what? It's actually on purpose, and it's a big part of why our program is so effective. And if you ever want to get nerdy about it, I'm happy to explain it to you, but all you got to know is it's going to be sometimes short and intense, sometimes long and not that intense, or relatively speaking, but it's all by design, and you need all of it. Oh, okay. Hey, you're going to see things on the board, movements you've never heard of before. Don't worry about it. That's what the coach is here to do. Unlike the experience you told me about at Barry's boot camp, our coaches actually eat, sleep, and dream human movement and are here to help you figure out exactly what variation of that movement and what weight and what intensity you need to do today to have the best workout and best experience and come back again and do it tomorrow. So don't be afraid to ask. You teach them how to be successful. Teach them how to absorb the information and that there's a lot of it and that that's okay and that it takes a while. Take the sting out of that. And third, it's about integrating them into this amazing community that we have. And if you leave it up to them, most people aren't that good at it. But you are. And you know the connectors in your community. And you have an opportunity to pull them in. And as people start to be pulled in and start making friends and going, wait a second, I think I really like this. And these people aren't scary. These people are awesome. They're so friendly and they're so helpful. That's up to you to do. Don't leave it to happenstance. That's something you can control. So how do you now actually design the onboarding program? Like I said, there's an order of operations. Now that you know the three pillars of the main things we're trying to achieve, how do you design it? Most of the time, people do these out of order. Almost always. They start with content or format, and then they try to figure out how to actually fulfill it. When actually, the order of operations is first start with, what resources do I have? What can I actually do? Right? Based on my priorities in this business, I need to have some sort of an onboarding program, which by the way, there is the occasional, I don't do onboarding. I don't need to do onboarding. And there is the occasional exception to that rule. However, not needing to and it improving your business if you did are two different things. Because you can get away with not doing it if you've got amazing coaches. Yes, you're getting away with not doing it. But I have yet, in my many years of doing this, ever see someone who applies the correct onboarding format for their business not improve retention and client success by installing the right one. And it doesn't need to be this gigantic, cumbersome thing, by the way. For some people, when you're new and you're a one-man or one-woman show, we're going to do a really, really abbreviated version of this because that's all we can afford to do based on our resources, right? So the first thing you got to consider is, what are my team resources? And that includes you. If you're coaching all the classes and cleaning the bathrooms and managing all the leads, we're going to need to be really intentional about how we do this and maybe do a single consolidated group format, right? But we need to know this to determine that. Because oftentimes people overextend themselves and they're like, it's not working. Well, it's because you're fulfilling it either poorly or inconsistently. Or you want to do this big, awesome onboarding program, but you're not ready for it staffing-wise, and you've got very limited availability. And that's actually a deterrent for getting people into your program. We need to get people into it as smoothly and quickly as possible. Onboarding should not be a blocker. It should be an accelerator. So team is the first place to begin. What are my resources? Once we know what we're working with, now we can start to determine the format. Now formats, we could do personal training, we could do small group, we could do large group. There's all sorts of things you can do when it comes to that, but I encourage you, start with something that you can actually afford to do time-wise, and ideally, we go from group on this end of the spectrum to one-on-one. And it's not that one's better or worse, but in my experience, the closer you can get to one-on-one and individualize it, the better off you're gonna be. My personal favorite is doing just a handful of one-on-one sessions. Again, if you're in a position where you can do that, 2 to 3 sessions is really all you need to create an awesome transition from I'm interested in this stuff and I just signed up to I'm in the class. Doesn't take much. You don't need this gigantic PT package on the front end. But I make a bunch of money doing that. That's cool. And again, it might be what's appropriate for you, because there's different variations of how you guys want to run your business and what your priorities are. So I'm not here to knock it, but a lot of times people do that because that's what they think they're supposed to do, rather than just understanding what's actually appropriate for you. So once you know your format, now we adjust the content. Now, I'll give you guys some cheat codes on this. So for the content, really all we want to do when we talk about the workouts is we want to expose them to a variety of different formats. So give them an AMRAP, give them something that's interval based, give them a time cap, something where they're like, oh, I see, these change every day. Explain it in a way to where you say you've now experienced a few, there's several more, and you'll get to experience those in class, but don't worry, the coach is going to always explain what to do and how to do it. So address the format. Number 2, give them the etiquette to not feel like a total idiot in class around equipment, which means what? Basic barbell etiquette, understanding, hey, we put our stuff away when we're done, we clean our stuff up, so they don't feel like an idiot, because that's one of the main turnoffs that people have when they join a new program like this, is they're like, I feel like the noob, I look like the noob, and that makes me feel stupid, and I don't like feeling stupid, so I'm going to, in my mind, already start checking out. Set them up for success so they don't feel like a fool around equipment. Also, asking for help. Teach them, hey, you're gonna see things on the whiteboard that you either don't understand or need reminders about. That's normal, that's what the coaches are here for. And Susie, I know you said your elbow is an issue that has kind of acted up for you and kept you from making progress in the past. Make sure you always let us know the second that that thing is giving you any grief whatsoever, so that we can help you work around it, because we can. We can help you work around whatever you need to so that you have a great, safe, fun workout every single day. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help work with that stuff. We don't let that stuff derail us from making progress. That's one of the main reasons why people quit, by the way. They feel stupid asking. Oh, I didn't know I could ask. They don't want to stand out. Hey, I know you're, as a new person, typically want to stand towards the front of class. The trick is stand towards the back of class, because you get to follow along with what everybody's doing. Give them all your little pro tricks. You guys know them all.
If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you're interested in what we do in Affiliate University, there's going to be a link somewhere around this video. Book a call. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you build a better box.
And then when it comes to there's a thing that we teach called the topic of the day, right? So there's the workout, but this is a really unique opportunity where you have a captive audience and you have their attention. And by the way, during onboarding is when they are the most receptive to learning. So there are 3 main topics that I have found I want to make sure I address every time with a new person. And this doesn't matter if I'm doing a single 90-minute session on Saturdays or if I'm doing this over 3 one-on-one sessions. The first topic is, what is CrossFit? Help them understand what it is that we do and why it works. You don't have to get super nerdy, but give them the basics. Explain what this means in plain English. The goal is not to overwhelm them and they can go, wow, he sounds really smart. The goal is to make them go, oh, that makes sense. That's the goal. So don't try to overcompensate for the insecurities or anything like that you might be bringing to the table about your value or about what you know. The goal is, oh, that makes sense. Plain English, guys. Okay? The second topic is nutrition. It's the other wheel on the bike. And by the way, it's the front wheel that steers everything. So let them know, hey, Kevin, you're here because you want to lose some weight. Amazing. This training is going to help you with a lot of that. But I got to be honest with you, what you eat and what you do outside of here is going to have a really, really big impact. And so we can help you with that. And we've actually made what most people have wildly overcomplicated really simple. And here, we've got this PDF, or we've got this nutrition program, and it's your opportunity to address that this is a big part of what we do. And then the third, and I would argue the single most important part, is about the true value of CrossFit. CrossFit's not a training program, guys. This is a life change for people. This is a life upgrade. CrossFit doesn't just help you lose weight and get fitter, faster, stronger. Being a part of a great CrossFit gym helps you become a happier, healthier person who lives a longer, more fulfilling life. It makes you a better person. It makes you more confident, which impacts your relationships. It impacts how you carry yourself at work. It impacts how you show up as a parent. This is big fucking stuff, guys. It's really, really impactful. You guys know that. That's why you are all here, isn't it? It changed your life to such a degree to where you're like, I need to do this for other people. I'm willing to leave my job or to completely change my path and risk it all and start a gym or become a coach, because you know that. They don't. And by no means assume, or better yet, hope that they're gonna get it. So use it as an opportunity to just tell them point blank. And a way that I found is really easy to do that is to come at it from a mindset standpoint. And on the last day, what we typically did, the last day of the onboarding, is I would do a chipper style workout or something that was longer and harder. It had some sort of component in it that would make them go, that was terrible. So it would tee up my topic of the day at the end. I'd say, hey, you know when we were doing those burpees at the end, how did those feel? I already know the answer. That was a nightmare. Totally, right? But look, you got through it, didn't you? Yeah, I did. Amazing. This is one of my favorite parts of why we do what we do here, is because not only do we help you get fitter, faster, stronger, but you become mentally and emotionally stronger as well. And that carries over into all the other aspects of your life. And frankly, the reason why I even run this gym and have this gym to begin with is because we get to help make people live better lives, because this impacts how you show up at work and all the things that I already said to you guys. And they go, oh. And I go, so if you're ever feeling like you're not up for coming in, just get your butt in here. Or if you're in a workout and you're feeling like this is so hard, just know that you're here and you're doing this and you're gonna become stronger and stronger every day that you do it. And your life is gonna continue to improve in every way that you care about, indefinitely. That's what we're all about here. Being able to have that conversation with someone creates a paradigm shift. Oh, I think I understand what some of these people might have been talking about. You guys get the point? That's what this is all about. That's what your onboarding is. No one gives a shit about teaching all those movements. It's too much. Just teach them that this is how this is gonna go, and this is how you're gonna be just fine. And it's gonna be great, and we're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna be supported. So building it out, here's the catch though. After those initial sessions, that's not the end of your onboarding. Your onboarding is actually a 180-day process, AKA 6 months. Most people think, oh, they did on-ramp and I put them in class. Takes care of itself. No, it does not. This is why we see such high churn in those first 3 to 6 months. What we've learned is that someone does not fully click over, on average, in less than 6 months, to where they have that big light bulb go off where they're like, I think I may have found my new favorite thing. This place is amazing. Because that's the goal, right? We want to create lifers. I have zero desire to just sell fitness programs. If that were the case, I would be in a different version of this business. No, I want to change people's lives. I imagine you do too. That takes 6 months typically. Now, how do we do that? Well, for one, we have a structured onboarding program like what we just talked about. But then from there, we go into our integration process. Now, for those of you who have done Affiliate University, you're familiar with this. We call this our 180-day journey. And the long and short of it here, guys, is that we want to take all of those components that I just explained, and we now want to personally hold their hand and make sure that those things continue happening, and that they are making friends and coming to our social events, that they are integrating in the community and having fun, that they are consistently showing up and getting the results from what they are here for, by the way. I'll get into that more here in a moment. And that they know that they will be helped when they need it, whether that's accountability and consistency of attendance, or it's, I don't know how to do this and I feel stupid, I'm sorry to ask you again, what the hell is a snatch? Don't make them feel stupid. Don't call them out. Take care of people. But there's a way that we do that to where we create a follow-up protocol that is totally personal and individual for every single person. Wait, are you saying to actually like check in with every single person for 6 months? Yeah. I don't have time for that. Make time. It's the most important thing. There's an analogy I've used before about this and seemed to land well, so I'll try again. Think of dating. If your first few dates with someone aren't so hot, and then you drop the ball, say on date 4 or 5, for whatever reason, you have a grouchy day or whatever, do you think you're gonna get another date after that? I'll give you the answer. The answer is no. I know from firsthand experience. However, what if you absolutely crush those first 3 or 4 dates, and then you have an off date on date 4 or 5? You get a pass. Oh, I wonder what's wrong with him. Must be having a bad day. We'll try again next time. That's long and short of how retention works. If you invest on the front end, it gives you a lot more grace longer term because you've built a solid foundation. We're in the business of building meaningful relationships with 100% of the people who come into our doors. That is what we need to do. And it's really tempting to utilize automation tools and things that are marketed to us in ways as like an answer to this. And it's not that the automation tools are bad, it's that most people don't know how to use them. Using automations and emails, etc., these are ways to help reinforce. But really the trick is, and we teach this to our people in Affiliate U, is that we teach you to use those automations to remind you to do an actual human reach out. People are so over-inundated with automated messages. They are numb to it, guys. It takes someone who genuinely cares, who's reaching out in a way that they like to be reached out. So it isn't just text or just phone or just email or just direct messenger. It's whatever works for them. And you figure them out and you learn them. And you make them feel seen and important and taken care of. Because during those first 6 months, it's gonna go like this. Consistency of attendance, they're super pumped, they're bummed out, life is going on. But if you can be the one to help constantly get them back on the horse and make them feel, don't worry about it, we're all good, let's go again. Hey, this month, we wanted to shoot for 12 last month. Hey, you were busy with work, don't sweat it, life happens, let's try again this month. No big deal. Someone is there helping hold their hand. There are ways you can do this very efficiently, but the moral of the story is it's about really building that meaningful relationship and transitioning them into becoming a lifer. Because once that clicks over, you've created an ambassador. And now you're cooking with gas, because that will magnetize your community. Where people come in and they're like, glad you made it in, welcome to the best decision you ever made. That's the goal. There's the 180-day journey, I jumped ahead. By the way, there is a single metric to track with your members, particularly when they're new. And it is the #1 indicator of whether or not someone is going to be successful or not in your program. And it is consistency of attendance during those first 180 days. Your goal is to get them to come in as much as possible. Now, this starts all the way in the beginning during your sales process. Ideally, we're actually talking about their goals, and we're talking about what they're currently doing in their lifestyle, and if they're currently working out or not working out, and frequency, etc. And then you make a plan around when and how often you plan on coming in, so that you can hold them to this when you get to this stage. And you explain, hey, it's totally normal that you'll be consistent, you'll be inconsistent. Don't worry, that's what I'm here to help you with. I'm gonna help you keep getting back on the horse and make sure that you stay consistent, because if people don't show up consistently, what happens? They don't get the value. And if they don't get the value, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, or how good your programming is, or how nice your facility is. The perceived value is never going to exceed what they're paying. That's the game in service. It doesn't matter what you charge, which is why some people can charge way more, and you're like, how the hell do they do that? Because no matter what you're charging, if it feels like it's more than, then it's a good deal. It always needs to be an excellent deal. If you are charging what it feels like, you're already screwed. We need to be as far above that as possible. So, on top of making friends and all the things, what's the main reason they came to you? Fitness, progress, weight loss. I want to look better, feel better, etc. So you can be as awesome and fun as you want, but if they're not getting that, they're going to start to fall out. And this is why so many people struggle with people who are like, you guys are amazing, but it's just not a good time. It's just, I'm just too busy. On with the excuses. That's because this is not happening. This is where the rubber meets the road. And if there's one thing to prioritize, it's consistency of attendance. I promise you. Building a proper onboarding is part of mitigating your future risks. Guys, when you get this part right, it creates an unlock for you. It's not just an on-ramp program. It is the foundation of your retention strategy. And that is the foundation of your growth strategy. You cannot grow if you've got a leaky bucket. You're just going to keep pouring water in the top, and it's going to keep coming out the sides. And that is a really fast way to burn yourself out. We see it all the time. People who care a lot and try really hard and work the hardest they've ever worked in their life. And they're like, this is just not getting better. It's almost always tied back to retention. There's lots that is involved in retention, the service that you're delivering on the floor, that's a whole other thing. But it starts with this. There are gyms who aren't that great at coaching yet, but they have great retention because of how people feel inside of that gym. You understand? That's why people who are new, like if I look at how shitty I was when I first started coaching, when I opened my gym, I was terrible. But it was all about how we made people feel. People felt important. People were having fun. That's the most important thing, is how they feel. It's not just about information or technicality. That's just what enables us to keep going. So I want to talk to you guys about something new and really exciting that we're doing. A few of you may have heard about this, but this is not something we've announced publicly yet. So we believe in what we've done with Affiliate University. I've been working with affiliates for 17 years, worked with thousands of affiliates all over the world, and that's just myself, but we've got a team of incredible people, Jason Ackerman, Jason Fernandez, 20 other people on the team that eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. And all we do every single day is work with affiliates all over the country, all over the world, and helping them figure out what success means to them and how they can go from where they are to where they want to go. We've created what we believe, we're a little biased, what is the best program out there for affiliate owners, and why do I say that? It's a pretty bold statement. It's because we've completely revolutionized how we are facilitating this and how this entire thing is done. There's been kind of a tried and true, if you will, approach. Everyone kind of copy and paste the same format on how business coaching is done. This is done across the board in any industry, and we decided that that wasn't good enough because we know and we believe that you guys deserve more. and you guys need something that is specifically tailored exactly for your business model and not just a general one-size-fits-all. So this is my timeshare pitch, guys, buckle up. We're trying something out, and we are doing this only for a handful of people, okay? And I'm giving you guys here today first dibs on this because there's literally not even enough to do this for everybody in this room. But we're giving 14 days of Affiliate University away for free. This is so that you can come in and actually experience this, because what we've discovered is that for most people have never actually worked with a business coach, or if they have, they've worked with one that was not truly the right fit for them and what they needed. And we've tailored this in such a way to where we want you to just come in and experience it, just like CrossFit. There's no better way to sell someone on CrossFit than to be, what are you doing tomorrow morning? Come in and try it. Get them in the door. Well, we believe the same thing is true for what we do, because we do it differently. So we want you guys to just experience it firsthand. Applications for this trial will be open here in a second. I'll give you guys the QR code. But like I said, the spots are limited, and we go through a whole interview process because we want to make sure we're actually a good fit for you, because we're not a good fit for 100% of you. I'll be totally honest with you, right? It needs to be the right fit for where you're at. And if it is, though, we will give you access to it and just give you the whole thing. And that way you can experience it and see for yourself. And what we do in that process, by the way, when you come in, is we're going to, first and foremost, we're going to assess the business. We have a 10 general skills of an affiliate assessment that we've created. It's got over 90 different data points where we're going to objectively measure every single aspect of the business. We're also going to have the subjective, where we're going to ask you, what do you think's working? What do you think is not working right? How does it feel? Because it's where those two things intersect that matters. We're going to pop the hood on everything that has a dollar sign attached to it. So that's your pricing strategy, your operating expenses, how you pay coaches, your budgeting strategy, and everything in between, to see where is the low-hanging fruit for you financially, because that's oftentimes where people are choking out and they don't realize it. And we're going to help you clarify exactly what success even means to you. So that means not just what does success look like in the affiliate, but more importantly, what does it mean to you as an owner of this business? As in, what do you need this to look like to keep you excited about this long term? Because once we know what that is, then we can reverse engineer what the business needs to look like to help make that possible. Once we have that, we're going to help create a roadmap that's specific to you guys. To you specifically, based on where you are, what you want, where you're trying to go, and lay it out for you step by step. Here's exactly how we're going to get you from here to there, and let you experience the coaching and everything that we do. Remember, we don't just focus on the business side, we focus on developing your staff and the service that you deliver as well. So it's a full coach development program as well as a business development program. So this is about being comprehensive and truly taking a holistic approach to the affiliate, because you can't do one or the other independent of one another. It's one complete thought. So if you're interested, don't wait, apply today. The reason being is that, like I said, there's only so many spots. We only work with a handful of people at a time because we want to make sure we do a good job by you. This isn't a volume play for us. This is a matter of just getting it in front of the right people.